Welcome back, painters. This is what we're going to do. I'm trying to get some paintings in here that we're working on to where we can get some different varieties of wet paper that we're using. Like for this one, I envision this outside part. Notice it's mostly white, all these. And the thing of it is, we can do them the same way for each of them, right? So that's going to be cool. But it's mostly white, so that we're going to have a puddle there, but we're just going to put little bits along the side when we come to do that. And so that's going to be kind of a cool thing. And then they have different sort of weird little things happening inside here as well that I figured would make some really interesting stuff that you can do with some wet into wet sort of techniques, was my plan for this. So I'm just going to move this up a little bit. I'm going to move it up here. And I'm going to do my outline drawing. That's always the best thing to do. Now remember, in looking at my printout here, if I size them right to the corner, this one is a little bit more stretched out on that. And so since it's stretched out, it's going to change the dimensions on here. So don't let that throw you. Don't panic on those sort of things. Okay, so I'm looking at my drawing here, and the height of this big orange slice, I'm going to start at the foreground and work my way back. I don't think it needs to be exact on these things either, because we have a little bit of our own thing. But you'll notice the orange height is about halfway on that one. So if I set a guide for myself on that, halfway, and then it comes up from here, and so I just kind of make this circle, half or quarter circle, that's coming up like this. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, we can see that pretty good. And then it's going to come down. It's going to come down maybe to here, right? And so as I take this around, and then I can kind of look globally. What do I mean by globally? Instead of focusing in like, oh, I'm going to draw this little spot here to here, think about the overall. Take a step back a little bit from the picture and try to see it in a larger view on those. And that's what I mean by globally. Okay, there we got that in there. And I had a lot of extra lines. Remember, if you're drawing lightly, these little extra lines will come up oh so easily. If you draw heavy, man, you're kind of stuck with some of those lines. You got to either cover them up or you got to make them work within what you're trying to do. Okay, so that was pretty cool. I got my first little orangey guy going there. Let's see. Let's go for another orange on that one. So let's go with this guy right here. This one looks like a good one. It's going to curve up and back, and so it starts about in the middle, right? And so it's going to kind of curve up like this. And he comes off, but then he kind of comes back. So I got to think of this picture here. How does this oval look right here on this orange? Maybe something like that, right? Because we got to envision it. See, if this one curves up, I may have gotten too sharp, because if this one curves up, looks like it's curving like that, huh? If I kind of go like this. So this needs to be out a little bit more. It needs to be down like this, so it shoots out here like that, so that it looks like it lines up. That's the tricky part of the overlapping with some of these things. And our first part is just to get these circles. I like that better, don't I think so. Don't you think? Yeah, I do. Okay, now we have this other little one here that's like this, right? This little part, and it looks like it's going up to maybe about right here. If you have an end in mind, a lot of times the drawing's easier. I'm going to turn this just a little sideways so I can make an arc. And it looks like it's starting about right about there, right? There's a gap of space in here, and it's going here. So if I have a little bit of an arc like that, that'll make it work out pretty good. Wow, that worked out pretty good. And then this one is this other one is kind of right up next to it here, this guy right here. And so he's coming out like this. He's going to touch right there and come on up, so maybe like this. And so let's envision this one a little bit. As this is coming around, this orange is here, like I'm thinking he's right like this, right? And maybe under that one a little bit more. And so coming down, it looks like this. It's not that curved, it's pretty straight. And so I'm envisioning this circle like this. So that looks about where we want that to be. Got a little bit of thicker marks on it. We'll start with the circles, and we'll start dividing up the orangey pieces in of themselves here. All right, now we have one last little guy here, and he's coming over here. He's kind of mostly hidden behind this one. And we got to think about these circles. If it is a sliced orange and they're the same size, you know, they're going to be about the same circle size. And so I got to envision this guy over here about this big to make sure it works out okay with those. So that's pretty cool. And I think I got it. I think we got it there. And that's our first step, just organizing our orange pieces, and then we can come back in and work on the structure that's in here. And so I'm envisioning, let's think about this one here. I got this one here, it probably comes out about like this. And so the center is going to be probably somewhere around here. And the cool thing about the center is it has some scallop things. That's a little high. I'm going to pull it down a little bit lower. Okay, and what I'm doing first is I'm just trying to draw another oval inside of this oval. So I'm trying to make it so this is about the same distance apart as it goes around. So when I start to put those little scallopy things in there, right? As we go, so if I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you what I mean. Oh, and let's do this first. We have a thickness of this core part here, right? The skin. And I'm just, as I'm drawing, I'm keeping this distance the same. Keeping this distance the same. And we go like that. And this is a preliminary line. It's not my final line, but it helps me establish where things are. Just like this little circle helped me establish where the center is on this orange that we're going to be working on. So from here, let's do some other lines that'll kind of help us establish some things. Radiating out from here, going to the outside, we have the sections, the orange sections, right? Like that. And then I'm going to take another one here. This needs to come a little more narrow. I'll say, boy, a lot narrower. Okay, so then I can come here and I can do this section like this. Now this, as I put these sections, I'm going to try and keep them about the same distance. Keep that working. And then maybe this one comes out here like this. Okay, now this one is pretty small in here towards the center. I keep forgetting that. I try to make them a little less sectioned. Okay, very lightly there. Just a little section in there. And then maybe this. Okay, so now I have kind of like a wagon wheel of things going, right? And now what I can do, I can come back in like this and round these corners so we can see them a little bit better. Like that. And that means that I have a little bit of erasing I can do in there eventually. And so I can round this out because the end of the section is more rounded. But if you put yourself some little guides in there, you can get that to work for you. Rounded section of orange. Let's go and get this little rounded part here. And since I drew fairly light on those first parts, it's working out okay. And then maybe that little part here. And so now I can come back in with my eraser and just kind of clean up the extra lines, right? I had like 5 lines right there. I had these little indentations where I had lines in there, but I don't want to see those lines because this area is going to be white, right? This area right here is going to be white, so I don't want to see little pencil lines in there on those. So that's kind of a deal. Okay. And divide that one out a little bit. All right. Here's the cool part. Now let's do the same thing on the inside here. And so we're making little loops like that. And then this one comes in and there's a little loop like that within those areas. Little teeny loopers. Now I'm not looking exactly at the drawing as the photograph as I'm making these. I'm just kind of making them up as I go along here because I have those guides. And that's okay. Remember, I wasn't interested in photorealism, on making this look exactly like the photograph. I am interested in making it look like an orange, though. So we have this little stuff going here like that. Now I can come back in and lift out those the guidelines that were on the inside. How's that grab you? Grabs me pretty fine, Mr. White. Thanks for asking. Okay. Me too. All right, so look at that. Look at that. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good drawing for the inside of our orange and what we have going here. Oh, I did notice that there's a little bit of the exterior that you see right here, huh? And so I'm going to draw that little line in, and there's the little bit you see right there with those. Okay, let's kind of repeat that process with some of these other oranges that we have going on here. Now we need to decide where the middle of this one is. So I'm thinking, if this is my orange here, the middle's got to be about right here, and we do want it to the side. And so remember, our guide was we're going to put a little bit of a circle or an oval. If this is the oval on the outside, this is the oval on the inside. This is the guide where the skin of the orange is, and then also on this side. And let's double check, because this distance here about the same as this distance here. If it is, then we're pretty darn close. All right. So now let's go ahead and make our wagon wheel pieces. Let's say so I'm going to make a wagon wheel here with this one. There's a big fat section on this one. This one has a fatty right there. And then this one comes in like that. This one can kind of come like that. And so I'm just looking to make sure that they're not too scrunched up or anything. Wagon wheels. All right, look at that. I think we're doing good. Like I said, I'm not looking to make them exactly like the orange peel. This one, I'm gonna shift this one. This one has a little bit of a weird look to it. I'm gonna shift this over a little bit so I can hit that more center and make those better. Okay, so now I've made my wagon wheel on that one. And so let's round the outer side. That's always best. Round the outside here. Not bad. Looks good. Round this a little bit. If you can be somewhat accurate in your preliminary drawing, it'll serve as a really good guide for you on how to make these. That doesn't have it. This is a little bit rounded here. And then this one, there's a little piece like that. And now I'm going to come and so I don't forget, I'm going to take my eraser and get some of those little teeny marks out of the way. Okay. Now I need to take these things. Now they're back quite a bit on some of those, around those edges in there like that, and around that. I only have one more of these I have to do to finish off my drawing. And so I'm using that inner circle for a guide, using my wagon wheels for a guide. And this one I'm coming in just a little bit on. Now I'm going to take out my wagon wheel, the inner part of the hub. And so all I have left is my little pieces there. Now here's the thing, you can see it much more in this one than you can in the other one, but they do have some they kind of show the structure as it kind of comes down like this, right? You see the sections there. That one's kind of joined together. You see more of it over here, I guess. You can see where it comes down. And maybe this section comes down here. This one I'm going to draw here. It kind of disappears into the void though. Then maybe a section here. And then these pieces, like I said, they disappear into an area where you have these little white triangles on them, right? So little white triangle pieces, little bitty white triangle pieces. And then maybe some white triangles here. Okay, so what you see now inside here is I've drawn a couple sections. You see that this is going to be the orange part of the orange. We have these little white triangle pieces. Sorry, let me bring this down here. See how you have these little white little triangle things here that are sticking down? And then these ones might even have a little bit more sticking out on them here like this. That's like that inner husk or whatever it is of those. And then these ones have them so that they're coming down here. And then this part here is the void. The place between the white triangles is the void, is the open space. Like that. So this is our open space down here. Now it doesn't look exactly like the other one does on that one, but that's okay. It'll still read okay as our orange on that. Well, that looks pretty smooth, huh? Alright, so I got two oranges somewhat drawn. Let's do this one over here since I'm working my way back. This one should be a little easier because I can just start here and I can draw the skin, the thickness of the skin, and the sections. So I'm going to put, see this one I don't have it exactly the same. I have this one, mine is shooting out a little bit. Maybe I need to bring that in a little bit more. Maybe we need to bring that in like this. Because if I bring it in, then that's going to, maybe something like that. Aren't you glad I did a drawing first? Me too. Because I need those sections. So I need to guess where the center is. I'm going to put the center is a little under here like this. And so if this is the, man, I might have to draw it so you can actually see the center on this one. Maybe, maybe not. Okay. And so if that's the center, then I have to draw my little wagony wheel pieces out like this. It's like a grapefruit size thing going on here. Okay, now let's just round these little parts out back here. And so I can finish that one off. Because I don't see the white part on that one. I did an experiment once for my drawing class. And you guys have to tell me what you think. Here, this was the experiment. I was thinking to myself, when I'm drawing something, I said, wouldn't it be great if the students knew exactly what I was thinking while I was drawing? And so I told them. I did exactly what I was thinking. Every decision I made on my drawing, I told them. I said, I think that's too short. No, that's too long. That'll work. Anyway, I told them this whole monologue. I lost them after about 5 minutes. It wasn't as cool to them as I thought it would have been cool, but that's all right. But you guys get to share in my thoughts on these ones too. Okay, we're going for this orange here. This orange has the thickness of the skin. Remember, we did that. Then we got to establish where the center is. We said that the center is about right here. So in that center area that we deemed as the center of the orange. We're going to draw the middle section. Now in the photograph, this is a little blurry. You can sharpen it up as you feel you need to. Okay, there's the center. Let's draw the wagon wheels. And we're just drawing things light. I have a couple thin ones right here. Okay, so now I have my wagon wheels. Let's draw the curves. On this side. And then there's kind of like one curve over here, maybe a little bit of one there, like that. Gonna lift out my extra with the pencil and the eraser. That's just a little dark, so I lighten it up a little bit. That line needed to be just a little more clear because I had some multi-lines here. Okay, awesome. All right, little loops on the inside. Few more seconds. Almost there. All right, got that. Okay, now I'm going to take out that inner oval so that I can see my sections. This one doesn't have as clear an image of some of those pieces going down on that, so it's a little bit more abstract as we start to put that there. If we want, we can make it more like that other one, having little triangles coming off these things that go down. And these just kind of end. I think I like that better. Okay, last orange that I can see anyway. Some of these other ones we're going to have in there, like in the teeny gaps, you're going to have some orange things happening, but not much that you can see. Okay, so here's this circle, here's this circle, and we have a little bit of the center we see right there maybe. And so I'm going to establish this as my inner circle. Put in the wagon wheels. Like that. Round this part. And then round these parts a little bit. Just so we see a little bit of that structure. And we'll maybe lift this out, and that could be, this is quite a bit darker in an area, at least it can be. All right. Okay, that is kind of step number one. It looks like there's maybe a little bit of structure over here of an orange too. We have a little bit maybe another piece of the outside of the orange and stuff there. But that's kind of our drawing, our beginning drawing for this orange painting, our orange slices that we're going to do. So yeah, that's not bad. It took a little time, but I think it was well worth it, so we have a good guide on what's going on before we actually start jumping into things. So thanks.